Bradford City continue their 2024-25 league campaign with a trip to Cheltenham Town, and in today's video you're going to find out how both teams have got on so far this season and what my starting 11 would be if I was Graham Alexander. Now my team Bradford City have had a pretty positive start to the season, and our recent form as well has been pretty decent. We currently sit 5th in the table. After 12 matches we've got 6 wins, 3 draws and 3 defeats, scoring 18 goals and conceding 12, which leaves us on a positive 6 goal difference and 21 points. Our last couple of matches then have been a win, a draw and a loss. Them last couple of matches then being a 2-1 win at home to Cheltenham FC, a game where we probably did just about deserve to win this match. Cheltenham had a lot of possession, especially late on in the game, but really did lack end product, and we scored 2 goals from defenders, and the second one from Jack Shepherd was an absolute beauty. We also had a 2-0 win away at Tranmere, very clinical goals from Andy Cook. They were the only real difference in the match. Tranmere looked a bit toothless going forward, had a lot of the ball but didn't really create too many clear-cut chances, and that was a brilliant 3 points for us. We also had a 3-1 win at home at Newport County. Really good first half, then a poor start to the second half. We ended it very well, as when we scored the goals would also insist that as well. Bobby Poynton was very impactful on off the bench. We also had a 1-1 draw away at Morecambe. Check Diabate scoring an own goal inside 5 minutes, but Jack Shepherd rescued a point for us with just 2 minutes left on the clock. We were really poor though in this game and probably didn't really deserve to get much out of it. And we also had a 2-1 defeat away at Harrogate. We were shocking for the first 25 minutes, scored a goal through Andy Cook after a big error from Anthony O'Connor, but then never really looked like scoring and only had 1 shot on target in the entire match. You're not going to win football matches by only having 1 shot on target, or it's going to be very, very rare if you do so. So yeah, like I say, our recent form has been good. 10 points picked up out of our last possible 12, but we need to remain consistent with that and get another win tomorrow. Our opponents in Cheltenham Town currently sit down in 17th in the table. After 12 matches they've got 4 wins, only the 1 draw and 7 defeats, scoring 16 goals, which isn't bad, but they have also conceded 20, which is really, really poor. That leaves them on a -4 goal difference and 13 points. They're currently 5 points above the drop zone and also 6 points off of the playoffs at the moment. Their last couple of matches then have been a win, a loss, a loss, a win and a loss. So 6 points picked up out of their last possible 15. That kind of does give form of a team who are going to finish at 17th come the end of the season. Their last couple of matches then have been a 2-1 win away at Colchester. Jordan Thomas scoring a brace in this game. Colchester had a lot of shots and a lot of possession, but weren't clinical enough and weren't good enough in both boxes, and that kind of relieved a little bit of pressure that was building on Michael Flynn. They also had a 3-2 defeat at home at Swindon Town. I look at the stats in this game and they were pretty even in all honesty. Obviously Swindon were 3-0 up just after half time. They pulled a couple of goals back. George Miller, obviously former Bantam, now playing for Cheltenham, he grabbed a goal in that game, but they couldn't quite edge their way back into that match. And they also had a 2-1 defeat away at Barrow. Again, statistically they probably did just about deserve to lose this football match. Barrow dominated possession. It was quite a late goal from Andy Dallas, the former Solihull Moors and Barnsley man, scoring the winner in that game with just 4 minutes left on the clock. Apart from that though, they also had a 2-1 win at home to Accrington Stanley. Former Bantam Dara Costello opening the score for the visitors before Norkett and Bowman bagged around 11 minutes between each goal to turn the game on its head and secure all 3 points for Michael Flynn's side. And then just before that game they had a, let me just scroll down a little bit further because I don't want to do a cut here, they had a 2-0 defeat at home to Fleetwood. Matty Virtue scoring a brace in that game. Again, statistically they didn't really deserve much out of that game. Only 1 shot on target at home isn't amazing. You can certainly see why the pressure has been building on Michael Flynn so far this season. Obviously they signed Sam Stubbs on loan from us. He seemed to have a pretty solid start, then went on a really bad run, and last couple of matches he's getting back to his better form that we know he can produce, but obviously he will be ineligible to play in the match tomorrow as he's on loan from us as well. Before we do any further though with today's video, make sure to drop a like on there for me. Can we try and hit 50 likes on today's video? That'd be massively appreciated. And don't forget as well to subscribe to the channel if you are new. We're now on the road to 400 subscribers. Don't forget as well to get your thoughts in down in the comment section down below. What is your score prediction for this match? What would your starting 11 be as well if you were Graham Alexander? Would you make any changes from Saturday's win against Gillingham? In terms of my team though, I have stuck with the 3-1-4-2 formation as I've banged on about loads so far this season. The proof is in the pudding. The back 3 is so important to us winning football matches. Whenever we start with a back 4, we never normally win, so we definitely have to play a back 3. In goal I've gone with Sam Walker. I don't think he was amazing against Gillingham, didn't really have much to do to be fair, came for a few crosses and that was about it. I don't really put any blame on him for the goal. Yes, it's at his front post, but it's not really a shot that I would expect Sam Walker to save, to be honest with you. year, and obviously he's much better than the other goalkeepers at the club, so he definitely would start for me. At right centre-back, I've gone with Aidan Baldwin. I'm not really too sure what's going on with Baldwin. We were told he was going to be back a couple of weeks ago. I know he's got to train and get back up to speed and all that sort of stuff, but if Aidan Baldwin's fit, he should be playing for me. Chet Diabate has been very average or poor in the last couple of matches. I thought Diabate struggled against Ollie Hawkins, especially in that first half, so I'd personally bring Aidan Baldwin in. I don't know if he's got injured again or Alexander's just not fancying him at the moment, but it seems a bit strange how he was so important for us at the start of the season and now suddenly he can't even get on the bench if he is fit. In the middle, I've gone with Neil Byrne. I thought again he had a pretty solid game at the weekend against Gillingham, scores his first Bradford City goal as well, but it's his communication which is so important in at that back three. You're going to need leaders. When it's a really far game away from home on a Tuesday night, you need your leaders to talk you through the game, so Neil Byrne would definitely start for me, and I'd partner him on the left side with Jack Shepherd. He was brilliant again at the weekend, obviously scores one of the best goals you're going to see from a centre-half, absolute worldie, Zinedine Zidane-esque, absolutely brilliant strike, but defensively as well, I thought he had a really, really good game, especially second half. He picks up quite an early booking in the second half, but kept his discipline well, and defensively had a really, really good game. Technically on the ball as well, he's very good, and obviously he was on loan with the Robins last campaign, so it'll be interesting to see what sort of reception he does get from the Cheltenham fans. As my holding midfielder, I've gone with the captain, Richie Smallwood. Like what I mentioned about Neil Byrne, we're going to need as leaders in a match like this, and I'm hoping he can step up once again. In this formation, in that position, you definitely do get the best out of Richie Smallwood, so he definitely would start for me. Just kind of needs to do what he does, switch the ball from side to side, win the ball back, kick some of their young kids, and just get the job done. At right wing back, I've gone with Jay Ben. I'm hoping he's going to be back fit and available for this one. If not, then I would stick with Brad Halliday. I think Halliday was important against Gillingham. I thought he had a pretty solid game, especially defensively in that second half. I know a few people did disagree on yesterday's player ratings. If you want to know more about that, then we're doing them at 7:30 every Sunday, and obviously if it's a midweek game, then on the Wednesday as well, so make sure to pop in for them player ratings. They're around an hour long and they are streamed live on this channel. But back onto Jay Ben, he's been very good in the games that he has played so far this season, did very well to displace Brad Halliday, and obviously was unavailable at the weekend due to illness, but I think going forward he's a big threat for us, so I'd definitely like to see him start at right wing back. In terms of my two number 8, so firstly I've gone with Jamie Walker. Again, more experience in there. I don't think he's been amazing in the last couple of matches, but he definitely has not been poor. He's just not really got that end product that we have seen from Walker in previous seasons. Over the last couple of games against Tranmere and Gillingham, I don't think he's been that creative either, so fingers crossed he can come up with a goal in this game. A nice early goal from Jamie Walker inside the 10 minutes would certainly set the tone for the rest of the match, so I'd partner him in midfield though with Clark Adore. Again, few people might be calling for Poynton. I saw Adore get a bit of criticism after the game against Gillingham, but I thought he had a pretty solid game. He's frustrating at times because he'll glide past 4 players like they're not even there, and then he'll play a 5-yard pass straight to the Gillingham player, so it can be a little bit frustrating, but I think there is a good player in there, and again it'd be nice to see him get his first league goal of the season. I think he's got a couple in the cup competitions, but I'd like to see him now get one in the league as well. At left wing back, a very easy choice for me. I've gone with Lewis Richards. I've been calling for him to start quite a lot of games so far this season. I think it's been rare that I've actually said, you know, Tyreek Wright deserves to start. I think Wright's attitude is quite poor. At the weekend came off with a hamstring, so I would expect him to probably be unavailable for this one, in all honesty, although that hasn't been confirmed, as I don't think there's been a press conference yet, or certainly hasn't at the time of recording. And Lewis Richards for me offers more than Tyreek Wright. Defensively a lot better, especially if you're going to put Jay Ben on the right side, who's a bit more attacking than Brad Halliday, then I think you can afford to have Lewis Richards on the left side. But even going forward, I think Richards can be a threat. His crossing has been a bit inconsistent so far this season, so he needs to just get a little bit more loft on them, because they always seem to fail to beat the first man, but when he gets it over the first man, it's normally a really good ball in for Andy Cook. So I would definitely start Lewis Richards at left wing back. As my two strikers then, at first I've gone with Andy Cook. Wasn't amazing against Gillingham, to be fair, but we all know about the threat that Andy Cook is. The top goal scorer in the division at the moment with 7, should be 8, and we should be sat second in the table, but dodgy referee decisions and all that sort of stuff. But Andy Cook, I don't think there's a world in which Andy Cook would ever be dropped at all this season, because he's far too important. And his partner, there's a big debate. I'd stick with Callum Kavanagh. I was furious with him for the kind of incident which he produced at the weekend, where Jack Shepherd heads the ball, it's going in the goal, and he selfishly taps it in. Probably didn't know that he was offside, but he didn't need to know that. I know he's desperate for a goal, but that was really selfish, and he put himself before the side, and that can't happen. I think apart from that, his overall performance was quite good, and probably was his best performance of the season so far. His link-up play was quite good at times, his pressing was very good as well, and Ollie Sanderson seems to have fallen off the face of the earth. There's rumours he's had a bit of a fallout with some of the staff after being subbed off at half-time against Harrogate. It'd be nice if kind of someone could come out and kind of put that rumour to bed, because Sanderson, I think, has been a good threat for us so far, but the fact that he's scored a couple of goals and then he's not been seen in a matchday squad since is a little bit alarming for me. On the bench though, I would have Colin Doyle, Brad Halliday, Czech Diabate, Corey Evans, Bobby Poynton, Ollie Sanderson and Verden Oliver. The players currently unavailable are Callum Johnson. Are we ever going to see that man all season? I know he's out until the new year, but goodness me, it'd be really nice to actually see that bloke play a bit of football. Also unavailable is Kieran Kelly, Anthony Sarsvik, Alex Patterson, Joe Adams and probably Tyreek Wright as well. So then the players who miss out through selection will be Zach Cady, Paul Huntington, Gabriel Wadsworth and Tyler Smith. And then if obviously Tyreek Wright is available, I still wouldn't even have him on the bench because I don't think he's particularly great, in all honesty. In terms of my score prediction, make sure to head over to the main channel to check that one out. I did a kind of score predictions with my MS. Obviously he's a Cheltenham fan as well, so you can get kind of both thoughts heading into this game, but I'm going to go with a bit of reverse psychology as a little bit of a teaser for you guys who haven't already watched that video. But thank you all so much for tuning in. Your support as always is massively appreciated. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll see you very soon for another one. Probably Wednesday for the live player ratings.